Hey, everybody, and welcome to RiverCity-Media's Beyond the Booth. I'm the Howard Channing, along with, of course, Phil Harris, and our special guest tonight. You can see it up there in the corner, the 5A state champions of the Scottsboro Wildcats, Coach Childers. Coach, welcome to the show, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for, I know it's been a whirlwind ever since Saturday morning, about 10. I think I saw the clock is about 10:45 when that horn went. Or the clock went 00 and the horn went off, and celebration started in Birmingham and also at Scottsboro. So tell us a little bit of what's happened since then.
Well, just kind of letting it all sink in, I guess. It was, just a great feeling, for our kids first and foremost, our kids, but our coaches too. We have a really good staff, and our coaches, and then just the cheerleaders, the band, and the community. We had so many people there for a 9 o'clock Saturday morning, 9 o'clock game. And I didn't even realize it till I looked back at the pictures and the videos and stuff, because I was just zoned in with the court. But we had such good support. So I'm just proud. I'm just proud for the town too. It's a big thing. We just got back from city council meeting at 5 o'clock where they honored us, and just everybody in town's really excited. It's been really good.
They give you the keys to the city?
Not yet.
Tell us a little bit of, a 9 o'clock game. How did you prepare for that?
You know what? At first, we were thinking, we wish we'd played more traditional time or whatever. But when you wake up nervous that morning, the first thing I told the coaches was, man, I'm probably play at 9 and so we can get moving and get this over with, because you want to be relaxed, but we were so nervous, nobody ate breakfast, is on us all night. Just thinking about it all night. But we stayed up the night before. And ironically, one year ago, we stayed in that same hotel to Sheraton. We watched Gladiator, me and the coaches. And exactly 1 year later, it came on again. So that's what I stayed up watching, because couldn't sleep, So watch Gladiator again, exactly like we did last year. And whether you want to say you're superstitious or not, I guess down the stretch, we all were a little superstitious.
That'll be one of the questions a little bit later on, but go ahead.
Well, yes. But preparing, by that point, we'd watched film a little bit the evening before we went to 8, practiced that morning. But, the hay was in the barn by that point. It was just trying to stay relaxed and look relaxed in front of the girls was probably the biggest challenge of that morning before the game.
Right. And speaking of the girls, I think we got a quick picture to show right there.
That's a good one.
Yeah. You got a lot of girls there, a lot of happy girls, and it came down to literally the last seconds of the game. I was talking to you before we went on the air. I caught the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, which ended up being about 15 minutes because of all the look at you roll your eyes between all the fouls and the timeouts and everything else. And, it came down to the last few seconds. And to me, it seemed like they were baiting y'all to give y'all a wide open layup or whatever to kind of let y'all score where they could get the ball back and get down there and score again. But it seemed like you were trying to hold them back from scoring, but y'all are such a high-paced team all year long, it was hard to pull them back.
Right. And, well, at the end there, it was a little bit nervous because, they had either 0 or 1 fouls whenever, they had to start fouling us. So we're having to get it in, which that's good. Okay, no fouls. So,
yes.
So they had a lot of chances. They're really long and athletic. They had a lot of chances to try to get steals when we're getting the ball in. We had a couple of timeouts to save turnovers and draw something up, but about the last 3 times we were out of timeouts. Our kids were just kind of on their own to get the ball in. And Ramsay was being real aggressive because knowing they had fouls to give. And it was a tough, nerve-wracking situation, to be honest. Like I said, our kids did a really good job. Caroline did a really good job of being the inbound girl. And Bree and Izzy and Morgan did a good job of getting open and helping her out. But it was a tough spot when they had so many fouls to give and could be so aggressive there. And we had to keep getting it in against their pressure without any timeouts.
And y'all did a great job at that as well. And I can't, as I told you before, I don't prepare, so I don't know any of the girls' names. But I remember the MVP. She fouled out with about 20 seconds left, something like that.
Less than that, yeah, less than that, around 10.
But she fouled out. But the camera on the TV was showing her because she was a spark plug to get y'all going at the very first of the game.
Yes, yes, she does a little bit of everything for us. You know, I guess she had 13 points and 11 rebounds or something like that, but she did way more than that. I don't know how many assists too, but she had some big rebounds, threw over the top, got us some easy, got Bree some easy shots. She's you know, she's our tallest girl, but she also stayed back and handled pressure for us. She's a reverse girl in our press break. So she really, really does a lot for us. She can kind of see over the defense. Really strong passer too. So yeah, when she fouled out there, it was a scary situation. Actually, they missed the first free throw.
Yes.
Thankfully, and I told the coaches, I said, look, I hope they make this one. You know, we were up 2 at the time. I said, I hope they make the second one because I don't know if we'll get a rebound against them. They have some Ramsay had some really, really good rebounders, number 23 and number 10 specifically. But without Izzy in there, I wasn't sure that we were going to be able to get a rebound. So they made it, put us up 1, and I felt a lot better about us getting the ball inbounds than getting the rebound against those 2 girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's move it down about 8 seconds later. On your end, you're shooting 2 free throws, and with 1 point something seconds left, I think it was. And I know you really want her in there to help rebound then, but she wasn't in there. But luckily the ball, if any time this has ever been accurate, the ball bounced the way you needed it to that day.
Exactly. I think it was actually 3.1 seconds is what it was. And they asked Morgan in the press conference after the game if she missed it on purpose. She said, no, I was trying to make it. But it worked out. She missed the first one, and that one worked out. So it just hit the side of the rim and bounced, and it worked out, you know, 1 in 100, just the perfect everything that we needed to happen right there because we didn't want to take a chance on them getting it and going toward our goal, a chance fouling or, you know, getting a shot up, something. So it all worked out, and Caroline saved the ball off of them anyway. So I think it should have been our ball anyway had they not called the clock over.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, trying to get that ball in against that long, lanky team there would have been very difficult.
Definitely very difficult.
Phil, I know you got a lot of questions for our man of the hour, coach of the hour and everything, so I'll let you go at it.
Well, Coach, once again, congratulations. You know, I know this is a big thing. And, you know, the one thing that I know you haven't really thought about too much because it probably hasn't really sunk in, but, you know, these young ladies are going to be remembered as a legacy. And, you know, I played on a state championship football team 40 years ago, and it's still talked about. So these young ladies have really made their mark, and it's something they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
Yes, it's like you said. I think it's sinking in a little more the last 2 days. Actually, yesterday I had a headache most of the day. I guess coming down, adrenaline. You know, just after all the adrenaline and all that. Gosh, I had a headache. I woke up actually, and I looked at my phone to make sure it wasn't all a dream that it had really happened. Of course, then as soon as I saw social media, it had. But it's something that, like I say, just so proud of the girls and something we'll always have. Nobody can ever take away. You know, they'll have those stories for their kids, their grandkids, forever, and it's just really special. I'm just so proud for the girls.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, Coach, going back to the game, there's a couple of things y'all were talking about, and y'all were talking about Isabel Nelson. You know, she had, and you said 13 points, 11 rebounds. She also had 4 blocks and 5 assists, so she did a little bit of everything.
Yes.
But to me, the key point in the basketball game, y'all fell behind in the second half. I think by about 9 late in the third quarter, but you made a little mini run, and Isabel Nelson was a trailer down the floor, and they got her the basketball. I can't remember who passed it to her, but she hit 3 at the buzzer to cut it down to a 3-point lead at the end of the third quarter. That really gave your team momentum, and you could kind of see that when they were walking off the floor.
Oh, it was huge. We'd been stagnant in just a rut, which the game was a game of runs, but we were in a stagnant in a rut. Felt like we just could not score, couldn't get anything going. And Morgan Perkins actually had the ball. She drove it, pitched it back to Easy Trail, and it was a deep 3 too. I don't know how many feet, but it was deep. And she made that at the buzzer, and that got us the crowd back. It got the energy on the bench. We got the crowd back, and it was just a huge, huge momentum swing. And I think it took us from down 7 to down 4. And then, you know, we run a set. Izzy immediately scores to start the fourth quarter, and then we get a steal to lay up, and it's tied within 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that was huge. And then you was kind of sort of be able to get the lead. You know, Coach, I wonder if you have noticed this, and I've kind of seen it in the past. You know, a lot of times these teams decide games, you know, the players decide games. But when you get in these type of games, coaching is so important. You know, you've had a lot of games to evaluate your team, but coaching moves are so important in games like this.
Well, I get, you know, and a lot of it is just, you don't like to say guessing, but, you know, a lot of it is just taking chances and hope it works out. I mean, you know, nobody knows. Some adjustments what we made was second half, we tried to play more of a pack line, more shell defense and you know, take away the lane even more so. Because their guards were hitting a lot of floaters and stuff that we hadn't really seen before. They were getting around their first line, hit some floaters. But I told Coach Nelson going into the fourth quarter, I said, we didn't think we could zone press them, honestly, coming in. We thought we were going to man-to-man press them. We thought that wore them down some, but playing it safe. I said, we've got to just take a chance and put our bigger lineup in and zone press. And either, I said, we may go down 10, we may lose by 10, or we may get some steals. Something's going to happen one way or another instead of the pace staying the same where we got stagnant. And we zone pressed, and it just worked out. You know, a lot of it's about luck. Our kids are going to play hard, whether they're man or zone, whatever we said. And we got a couple of big steals and kind of got them on their heels, and just kind of changed the momentum of the whole game and got us a lead.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, Coach, you know, going back to the schedule you have to play, and it shows down when you get to this tournament play. And a lot of our girls teams up here in North Alabama are very successful when it gets down to Jacksonville. But the level of competition in our area is so fierce. It is so good, you know. And a lot of times, teams that handle the ball well are teams, and especially, and that's going to be guard play most of the time, are the ones that's most successful. And I think that's a tribute to the schools around here who play that kind of style.
Oh, it's definitely, but you know how good, like in the Sound Mountain area, how good basketball is. And but it's definitely a pressure aggressive style. So when you get down there, you're not sped up, so to speak. And we've played gosh, I don't know, you know, I forget how many ranked opponents we played. Maybe 13 of our games were ranked opponents, something like that, plus the tough games in Tennessee. So we've definitely prepared ourselves. We've played all different kinds of teams. We played, you know, Hazel Green slowed it way down, so we had to grind a low scoring game. You know, early in the year we had a lot of blowouts where we wasn't getting to work a whole lot. Yeah. And but then later on our schedule got so tough, we were having to learn how to win, you know, fast-paced games, slow-paced games, you know, have to be tough rebounding. We saw a little bit of everything. But the schedule, the speed of the game, the toughness in North Alabama, I feel like really helps once you get down to the state tournament.
Phil, before you move on, let me ask this for his coach. Phil mentioned something, and I want your opinion on it. You don't get to go to Jacksonville. You get to go to Wallace. What's up? I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, here you are, probably besides North Jackson, the farthest northeast team in North Alabama, and they send y'all out west to Wallace.
Well, to be honest, at first, I think everybody was a little disappointed about it because it was a real shock. We had seen what the projections looked like, where we were going to go, and we were thinking Jacksonville the whole time. And last year we played at Jacksonville, and as y'all know, that atmosphere is just unbelievable. Our region final last year against Southside was the best basketball atmosphere I've ever been a part of. Just absolutely crazy. And so that said, and I think Scottsboro had never been. I know we were when we were 6A. You know, the last time we were 6A, we went to Wallace. But before that, I don't remember the time when they were at Wallace before that. So at first we were disappointed. All that. That said, I will say I think Wallace is the second best venue by far after Jacksonville. And to be completely honest with you, we played so well and shot so well at Wallace that after it was all said and done, I didn't have a problem with it at all, because last year we were in a different situation. Last year we were really young, but our first game in a big arena. Seemed like the first half we shot awful. Last year, first game at Jackson was really bad. First half of the first game at Birmingham was really bad. But for whatever reason, you know, we wanted to play some other games like MLK Day or something at Wallace. It just didn't work out. My kids have never played in the gym. But for whatever reason, gosh, we shot the ball so well and played really, really well at Wallace. And the atmosphere, we had enough people there, was a lot better than I had anticipated. So it ended up working out great.
Well, Coach, of course, your gym over in Scottsboro, you know, it's kind of wide open. So really, you already get kind of a style of what you're going to see in home games because the Scottsboro gym's huge.
Right, exactly. And ironically, as crazy as it sounds, we kind of went through a little shooting slump when the tournament started. You know, I guess we hosted the first 3 games, area finals, and the sub-region. We were really in a little shooting slump in our gym. Now, we were playing really, really good on defense and holding teams down, but not shooting the ball particularly well. And I think a lot of it was because just the pressure of what we were supposed to do, and we were a little bit tight. But for whatever – so I was nervous going into Wallace after we hadn't shot the ball particularly well in the tournament. But for whatever reason, we found a new level of confidence and started shooting the ball well at Wallace State.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Well, Coach, you've spent several years up at Huntland, Tennessee, when you first started coaching. That was your first head coaching job. And Carrie Ellison has talked about this, about playing teams up in Tennessee. What's the difference in girls basketball in Tennessee as there is in Alabama?
Well, I think there's a few differences. You know, first off, they've been playing girls basketball since the 20s in Tennessee. I think it got, you know, the 70s in Alabama. So they got a 50-year head start, really, for varsity girls basketball. And then, of course, you know, there was the Pat Summitt deal, you know, made it basketball important in the state. And then in Middle Tennessee there, you know, the Rick Enzel deal, that he was at Shelbyville for 30 years, and then he's been at MTSU for 21 something now. So that really brought a lot of attention and emphasis emphasis to basketball in Tennessee, first off, because like when I was up there, like coaches, if you were successful, you started coaching girls, you didn't have to deal with football, and it was its own thing. And actually, every year I was up there, our district tournament, we played in districts, not areas, kind of like a region, you know, kind of like 2 areas put together. So the girls would make more money than the boys would. So this shows you how much emphasis there was on girls basketball. And then on the court part, Tennessee is more of a man-to-man, no gimmicks. You start when you're young, you get where you can guard man-to-man, and you know, you go through bad times to get to good times, so to speak. And it's not, you know, it's not Band-Aids and as much gimmicks as which North Alabama's come a long ways in basketball and catching that. But Tennessee is just about, you know, you do it right, go through bad times early to get to good times and get where you can guard your position, and a lot more about pressure and toughness. You know, guarding man-to-man all your whole life, you know, makes you naturally tougher. And we would rarely see any zones every night. You know, somebody's going to be in your face guarding you, man. You're going to be in their face, and the team just kind of made each other better. Which I will say now, like in our area, the last few years in our area with Gunnersville, you know, and Arab, and whether it be Fairview, whoever, it's been more of aggressive man-to-man style, and I feel like we've made each other better, and we're all better for it, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that's a good point. You know, and it's the same that way between Tennessee and Alabama in softball too. Girls softball played slow pitch down here for a long time, that fast pitch, but Alabama has really closed the gap in softball. Right. So, yes. You know, and, you know, maybe, you know, you playing up in Tennessee makes you better, makes Pisgah better. You know, the teams that cross the state line, that's great, man, you know, because it makes a difference. And also adds a lot of interest playing teams that you don't know when you go out on the court. But, you know, you spent that time at Huntland, and before you come to Scottsboro, you took over for Derek Wynn. You know, so when you took over the Scottsboro job, it was in pretty good shape.
Oh yeah, they had just been to the Final Four the year before I got there. You know, for the second time. At that time, it was the second time in school history. First time was in the 70s. You know, so it had been forever, and we had a lot of good players. They had only lost one good, you know, player, so we had most of everybody back. we weren't real deep, but had a really good team. And so yeah, it was definitely already in really good shape just to grow from that.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, Coach, what I kind of want to talk about, and you touched on it, and we're seeing in Alabama where there's a big debate about the public-private school, you know, about the unfairness. You know, it's a shame because I don't want us to go to a public-private school split. Like when I grew up in Chattanooga, and when we played in junior high football, when I played up there, we played Baylor and McCallie. Well, the public schools now in football can't play Baylor and McCallie. That's out. You know, and you hate to see that kind of thing because there was some great rivalries in Chattanooga when those two when we didn't have this split. And I don't want to see that happen down here, but you kind of touched on it, is if we do have that public-private school split, you're probably going to see us more out of the area play, more toward the district play, because you're not going to have as many teams, and then you'll have a region tournament. You know, that's kind of the way they do it up there. You play a district tournament 1 through 4. You have a consolation game, 4 travels to, then you have the region tournament, 4 plays 1 in the other region. And that might be what ends up happening down here in basketball in the future. Do you see that happening if we have a public-private school split?
That's the talk that you know, you hear in Birmingham this past week. That's the talk. And what I will say is, seeing both sides of it, I do think there's ups and downs, because I'll say that in Tennessee, when we had the districts, which are basically like, you know, 2 areas combined, you know, the district tournaments were bigger there. It was a really big, serious thing there. But now that said, the regions there were not as big as they are in Alabama. Like the regions were played at a local school, local site. It rotated. So the region tournaments are the atmosphere, like especially Jacksonville, Wallace, is way better, and I'm sure makes more money and bigger deal than it was in Tennessee. So one advantage the way Tennessee did it, though, so 2 teams from the same district could make it to the state finals theoretically. That was one advantage from the way they did it. But there's a lot of advantages to the way that Alabama does it too. Like I say, with the 4 regions, really works out well too. As far as the public-private split, if you wanted me to talk on that, so I've been at Tennessee. I've seen, so you know, they were talking about splitting. You know, right when I left, it was happening right as I was leaving. They had made it almost impossible for anybody privates to stay right when I left, and I think they were completely split my last year or the year after I left. But there's ups and downs to it. You know, the public schools are not having to play, you know, the big, and there's a lot of big money, huge private schools in Tennessee, more than there is in Alabama also. You know, there's a couple in Chattanooga, primarily in Nashville, but it's not all a free lunch, so to speak. I think at the time when they're all together, they couldn't give scholarships if they wanted to play in the public division. So they were already split, but it was an option then. So they couldn't give scholarships if you wanted to play public. So therefore, those teams weren't necessarily getting the best players. Well, now since it's completely split, it's kind of diluted football and say basketball in the Nashville area, because if you're anybody that's if you're a really good player, you're going to go to one of those big private schools, and so it's kind of watered down the rest of the public field, if that makes sense. So therefore, like Murfreesboro is the best public schools because they don't have the huge private schools yet, so they're still getting the best athletes. Nashville area, you know, if they can offer a scholarship and guarantee a good ACT, all that, it's hard for parents to say no, and it just kind of waters down the playing field, so to speak.
Yeah, I know exactly what. Yeah, it makes sense because it's the same way in Chattanooga. You got Baylor and McCallie. If you're a prominent kid, or they give scholarships, well, it waters down the other schools. Your Red Bank suffers, and the ones like that. Because I grew up there when everybody was kind of equal, but there's a big difference now, and you know that's the reason I don't want to see, because I want to see Scottsboro play Madison Academy. I don't want Madison Academy to be, and I think they do a pretty good job of making them move up when they do well. Yeah, they're still going to go out and get certain players, but they make it to where you can actually compete with Madison Academy. Yeah, sometimes they're going to consistently be better, but you still can reach out there and beat them. Right now, But if they do go to the public-private school split, you probably won't see Scottsboro play Madison Academy anymore.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure how that worked in the regular season. I'm not sure how that would work at all. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it would be hard for football, I think, more than anything else. Basketball, you might be able to be. It'd be hard in football.
Yeah, basketball, you probably still make it work. Football would be tough for sure.
Yeah, be very hard. Family, I want to talk a little bit about that. Of course, your wife and April, y'all both went to school at DAR. Am I right?
We did. Yeah, we graduated together at DAR.
And I think she went to school at Auburn. You went to school at Athens State and got your master's at Jacksonville. How did y'all meet? How did y'all two get together?
Well, we were I won't say we dated in high school. We were really close friends, hung out a lot in high school. I won't say we dated in high school. But whenever she was at Auburn and came back for the summers and stuff like that, we started dating in college. We were already friends and close friends, and we share some really close friends that too. So we started dating really, I guess, for sure in college.
Yeah, definitely. So do y'all have a child?
We have a little 4-year-old.
Yeah.
We have a 4-year-old in Audrey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Tell us a little bit about her. I guess she's the apple of your eye most of the time.
It's most important thing in our lives for sure. She's I don't know if she's going to be a basketball player yet. I think it's too soon to tell for that. But she's a good basketball fan. She loves going to the games and cheering us on. She's really high strung. She's got a lot of energy. So maybe I'm hoping she'll channel that towards sports if I get my way about it. But whatever she wants to do. But she really enjoys the games and talks about the girls, and she likes going. If we have Sunday practices, sometimes she likes going and talking to them, going in the locker room with them, and she's asking about them. She'll she has her favorite ones. She'll cheer for during the games. Yeah. She helped us roll yesterday. At Scottsboro, when you win a state championship, they have the line of trees that everybody rolls. And so she was proud. She went and helped the girls roll the trees, the small little bushes she would help us with.
Hey, really those trees have taken a beating so far this year. I saw somewhere where the school this academic year has already won 5 state championships.
Yes, I saw that 5. It's that, yeah, it is. I saw Max Prep set something out last year, and I think we were 3rd in Alabama for just, titles overall, I think, behind Vestavia and maybe somebody else. But just for winning so many titles, track, cross country, wrestling already this year, swim, bowling. It's just, Scottsboro has been successful in just in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, they've been known for, especially like cross country. I know they've been well known for baseball for a long time. Yeah. Overall, they have always had a great academic program. Well, Coach, I want to ask you this. When you left Huntland, how was you able to get the job at Scottsboro? How did that come about? Coach Wynn left. Did you apply for the job, wanted to come back this way? Did they reach out to you?
I think they had a meeting and come up with several names or whatever. And I guess, I shared friends with Coach Dudley and Hodges and Tubbs. I knew all 3 of them, not great, but, I knew them from coaching against them and all that. And it just came about. Honestly, I was content at Huntland. I was happy. The people there were great to me, and I wasn't necessarily just looking for a job. And I went to the interview just relaxed, and it was just really, really good. And next thing I know, I just really liked. Brad Dudley always said if he can do one thing, he sells his product, and he really sold his product and made me want to be a part of that. And I want to backtrack just a little bit. I guess I was in college when that gym was built, and I remember the first time I ever walked in Hambrick Hall. I've never told this story to anybody, but I walked in there, and when I saw that gym, I remember thinking, I'm young, just thinking, gosh, one day I hope I can coach at Scottsboro. Just from the facility standpoint, just looking at it, yeah. I was just kind of blown away, and I never dreamed I would have been the head girls coach for 7 years. But so going back, heck, I do that. My dad still lived down. I was obviously living in Tennessee at the time. I came to my dad's to work a little bit on our little farm, and people start calling me that, you know, that the Scottsboro people are calling, interested, asking questions, and this, that, and the other. And I was just kind of blown away. You know, I just went to the interview just talking a bit. So Mr. Dudley got with me, and it all happened really, really fast. I actually had already had it was late in June. It was in early June, and I'd already had camp with Huntland planned for that Friday, Saturday. So I remember I accepted the job Thursday night. From me and Brad met in Burger King in Gurley. It had just opened then, and signed all the papers. And I said, well, here's one thing, you know, I said, if I accept this, I don't have my team covered, Huntland covered for Friday and Saturday. He said, well, that's fine. You take care of them. He said, I respect that you don't want to leave them hanging dry. I said, you take care of them Friday and Saturday, then you come to Scottsboro Monday. So they got Saturday covered, and I still had to go with them Friday. And boy, it was it was tough. We went to Eagleville, Tennessee to play our camp, knowing that I was going to be telling the girls I was going to Scottsboro after our third game. And that was tough, but got it handled. And then I rode the bus with them to Scottsboro that Saturday. They went to Bradley Central for a tournament. I was just riding along, but board hadn't passed yet. I was just riding along with them. But it all happened, like I said, I wasn't just desperate for a job or anything. It's just something that, you know, I don't know if meant to be. I don't know, you know, I don't know if it was meant to be. The last couple of days, it feels like it. I know that. Yeah. But, you know, it's something that just worked out. It was just a good fit with, you know, with Coach Dudley and Hodges and Tubbs. And then Dr. Reyes was the superintendent then. And it just kind of, like I said, I don't know if it's meant to be or what, but it just really worked out. And it felt like time. And I asked my wife, I said, you know, she was completely content in Tennessee. And I said, you know, what do you think about, you know, because we grew up where I live is less than between 10 and 15 minutes from Scottsboro. She said, I'm fine with whatever you want to do. So I signed the papers. It all happened really, really fast. So I hope that wasn't too long of an answer.
No, that's great. This is your show. That's like we tell you, this is your show. And of course, you know, Brad Dudley, you know, the big thing I heard, you know, that he said, and, you know, he just said, he goes, the man loves basketball and he works his tail off. And he said, and that's all I need to know. So, you know, he spoke highly of you. Of course, he went after you for the job, and, you know, I guess the rest is history so far. And I wanted to go back to talk about April just a little bit. What did she mean to you, not only as a wife and a mother, but what does she mean to you? Because when you're on the basketball season, especially, you're gone a lot. So she has to hold down the fort. So what does she mean to your family?
It's tough. Gosh, I told Audrey last night, I said, I'm going to be able to start spending a lot more time with you now, because as you know, basketball season is the longest. It seemed like the longest season, you know, I don't know, 4 months or 4.5 or whatever it ends up. It's really long. And there's a lot of nights, you know, I'm traveling on the road every Tuesday and Thursday, then trying to watch junior high when I can. And it's really long and a drag. And it's a lot on her to having to, her and her mother actually is watching Audrey right now. My mother-in-law is watching Audrey right now. So she really stepped up and helps out a whole lot too. But, you know, practice every Sunday. And it's just it's a long drag. Of course, you miss your family, want to be there, and still try to make as much time as possible for them. But it is definitely tough on a spouse of a basketball coach in the wintertime, for sure.
Well, the young ladies on your team right now, when you do bring Audrey around, I guess, you know, they get to see a fatherly side of you, and I guess they take to her very well. You know, and I think that's great, you know, having your children around, because I think it's great for the young players.
It is great. They've welcomed her. She loves seeing them, and the best part is that you know, they're all great influences. That's you know, the perfect kids that I would want her to be around is them. It's just they're great. They're just, you know, great influences, people for her to look up to. I couldn't ask for a better situation.
And I'm sure you probably preach this to your young ladies on the basketball team, that, you know, they're role models. You know, they may not really understand that, but when they walk those halls, especially to your elementary school kids, you know, they're kind of sort of like idols. So, you have to be on your best behavior, not only on the court, but you've got to be that way off the court, because when you're in a position they're in, somebody's always watching you.
Oh, you're right. But you know what? That's not, we don't have to, we've had to worry about zero discipline issues, anything like that from our kids. Almost all of them are in National Honor Society, all-star students, basically straight A's on our team. So it just makes it easy. It just, that they make that part really, really easy. It's something I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about checking report cards, or discipline, anything like that. Our girls are so good that that's taken care of. It lets me and the coaches worry about other things. That's not an issue at all.
Definitely. So, you know, and it sounds like it, you know, and one young lady that I wanted to talk about is, of course, Bree Sexton. You know, she's made comments to there, you know, she basically said, you know, we were expecting to do this. You know, this was not our winning a state championship was what we expected to happen at the end of the year. You know, that's great leadership.
Yes. Gosh. Yeah, Bree put so much into it. And like I said, they had a level of confidence. You don't want to be overly confident, I guess, but the girls had a level of confidence, and they were definitely on a mission, you know, on a mission to win one more game than we did last year. And, you know, we talked about 4 points all year, 4 points all year, 4 points. So 4 to tie. You know, we lost by 4 last year. It took 5 to win, and that's exactly how many we were able to come up with. Yeah. There was no extra wiggle room there. So lost by 4, won by 1. So we actually got 5 points that we needed. And it was just, they were on a mission. Bree was confident, and it was just, it's a special thing to be a part of, really. Special ride.
Yeah, definitely. So you've now won, I think, like 56 games in the last 2 years. But last year lost to Jasper 48-44 in the finals. Heartbreaker. How did you deal with that walking into the locker room? Because, you know, your heart had to be broke for those young ladies.
You know, last year, though, it's strange because, you know, before last year, they had all been JV players with the exception of 2. Our 2 seniors now were you know, played as sophomores on varsity. The rest of them were JV. So we really didn't know. We knew they played hard, and, you know, we knew they were good JV players, but we really had no idea. Our first goal was, is there a way we could get in the top 2 of our area? Because our area was really, really tough. We had no idea what was going to happen. Then, you know, we kept winning and kept winning and kept getting a little better and being able to win different types of games as the season went along. So I remember sitting watching in the state tournament, and it just kind of hit me last year. And I told Coach Nelson, I'm like, it's crazy to think that we're going to be in the state finals tomorrow. This was last year. So, yeah. But then when we got there to play Jasper, you know how, you know, Jasper's reputation, how good they were. Mm-hmm. I think most people expected us to, you know, to get beat really bad. So it's kind of like we were playing with house money almost last year. I know you always want to win, but people were expecting us to lose really bad. Jasper was so good. Now, that said, the way we were able to stay in the game and actually had a 3 to take the lead with 10 seconds, that's what made it tough. You know, I felt like last year, you know, if we'd have lost by 20 in a game like that, you'd have felt like, well, they were supposed to win. But the way we played so hard, and Bree had a 3 to take the lead with about 10 seconds, it just rolled all around the rim and fell out. So yeah. That's what really made it tough last year, just being that close to what could have been. Made it really tough. But we also knew our girls all, you know, we had no seniors. We also knew that they all had, another shot at it, which, you know, which led to a long, stressful, you know, there's a lot of pressure on us this year. It led to a long, stressful year this year, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. You know, we'd have games where, you know, we'd win by 28. I know one game, maybe the Sub-Ridge, we win by 28. Everybody's like, y'all just didn't play well. Y'all didn't play well. You know, there was just that expectation that we were supposed to run the clock every game. You know what I mean? Yeah. But still, though, it was stressful. But gosh, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, because I think some successful programs, you're going to have those ups and downs where you don't play well every night, because a lot of times you are favored and you're going to get the other team's best because they, you know, it's just like next year. You're going to get everybody's best. So sometimes you're not there every night. So, you know, and it's tough. The other team's always going to be intense because they're ready for you. They want to beat you. They want to knock off the champion. So people, I think, kind of sort of don't, really understand that sometimes, because when you're a successful program, you don't want to be playing at your best at the midseason anyway. You're coaching to finish the regular season strong and hit the playoffs on a good note. You want to be fresh, mentally, physically, healthy. So, kind of when you're a successful program, you kind of it's kind of like a chess game, I guess.
All right. And yeah, that's something I didn't touch on. It was we got everybody's best shot for sure. And I think it made us better though. Heck, if anybody was up after the first quarter, their gym was crazy, or their fan. It was definitely an experience, but I think for the most part, I think we played pretty well all season. I think we lose 5 games. One of those was in Tennessee. I guess we lost 4 in Alabama. One of those was Hazel-Green at the buzzer. We had the one tough stretch. We lost to Hazel-Green, beat us at the buzzer. And then we went to Madison Academy, who was really, really good too, by the way. And shot those 2 games, we shot really, really bad. We were 1 for whatever from the 3-point line, those 2 games combined. And that was probably, I guess, the low point, even though it was really, really good teams. That was the only time we'd lost 2 in a row. So that was probably the low point. But I think right after that, it kind of woke us up with that. We played our best basketball after those 2 games. Started with Mars Hill after that. We found another gear and played just really, really well down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think, and of course, Coach Kerry Ellison, that's kind of the way his teams do. When it gets crunch time, they pick up and go to a different level. It seems like time and time again. Yeah, they may have lost 8 or 9 ball games, but you never count them out because this is the time of the year they really play well. Well, Coach, talking about that loss to Jasper and that 3-point shot spinning out, do you think that was big motivation for the ladies going into the offseason?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, we started talking about 4 points from, our first spring practice after that. So it was definitely on their minds. And I think it motivated us to work harder. Everybody, our kids, all started driving and got cars, boyfriends, whatever. And I talked about this at the state tournament last year. And one of the announcers brought it to my attention. He remembered it this year, but I asked how we handled that, and I think our girls handled it great. They kept working, took effort to a whole new level. They made time for basketball, made time for the team, and it paid off. Like I said, by the slimmest of margins, we needed every single thing that we could get, and it paid off. And we were able to win by 1 point.
Well, you was referring to somebody, and I want to bring his name up because he's been so big for Scottsboro in athletics, and that's Greg Bale, who does a lot of the radio broadcasts, and I've known him for years. Back when I did Scottsboro football back, he was in the early 2000s. He was always very helpful for me, but he's been a mainstay at Scottsboro with the media and all those kind of things. He does an outstanding job of keeping up with the athletics at Scottsboro, and of course, they cover every basketball game. So that's the community to have the support of the local radio stations.
Oh, he's invaluable. He supports us so much. Like I said, not just the radio, but he keeps up with his stats, and he's a great statistician. He remembers everything, so he keeps up with the stats. If I've ever got a question, if we got to send in something about our record, this, that, and the other, anything, I'll message him and I get a text back in no time. He's on top of it. He takes care of so much, and with his his social media stuff, just promoting us too, putting that out there, promoting us. It's just it's just really great. I've never been somewhere that had that much support from the radio. Whenever we cut down nets, I said, well, I'm not going to, he's got to go down there if I'm going to go down there. So, he's that big of a part that, he's involved in cutting down the nets. We won the area and so on and so forth. It's just, and it's a shame too. He carries us all the way to the region finals. It's a shame that he can't be, that they don't allow him at the state tournament too. I wish something change about that, because I don't see what, I don't understand all that, and that's above my pay grade. But I really wish he could be down there.
Yeah, and I understand, because see, back when I did radio and worked for K98 in Scottsboro, we did all the regions and all that stuff, but they wouldn't. At first, we got to go to Birmingham, because one year when Belly had got to the finals and Fife got to the finals, we got to do the Final Four from Birmingham. But then after that, they cut us off and wouldn't let us. It's a shame you can't. They allow the football, to have the home broadcast, but you would think the signature station would be allowed to broadcast from down there. But, it's like anything else. Money talks, and that's the time that the Athletic Association makes their money. So, that's just the way it is. They make the rules. So, you just have to abide by them, and that's a shame. And, and talking about Greg, back when I was at Scottsboro, even though he didn't have to, and we were a competing radio station, he always gave me the media guide of all the statistics and all that was going on. And then if I ever had a question, he was always very helpful. So, yeah, he's always been a big part of Scottsboro, and I appreciate him, and I know the Scottsboro community does. Oh,
yeah, it's so great having him. Like I said, I don't words can't describe how much he helps us. And a lot of times, if his stats or something, I have a question, I just refer it to him a lot of times. And he takes care of so very much, put so much time into it too. I don't think the average person realizes how much time he has to put in preparing and covering all the games and all the sports. But he puts so much time into it. We're so appreciative of Greg also.
Well, Coach, before I turn you over and let Howie take over just a little bit, I want you to talk about some of the players on the team. Of course, Isabel Nelson ended up being the MVP, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 block shots. Then you had Morgan Perkins. She had 11 points. Bree Sexton, her continued, great work. She had 15 points. I know Caroline Dawson, a big name on your team. And, of course, Bree made all-tournament. Morgan made all-tournament. And, of course, Isabel was the MVP. Talk about the girls, because I know they like to hear their names naturally, because if they get to listen, that they're going to want to hear names. And if you forget somebody, they're going to probably want to let you hear about it. But talk about them and the importance they are to this program.
Well, before you do that, let me pull the picture up, and you can name them off. That way you won't forget nobody.
All right, so we got Morgan Perkins at the bottom, number 4. Tatum Shelton's beside her, kneel down at the bottom. Caroline Dawson's 22, Abigail Shelton 24. There's Bree, you can see her number 3 right in front of the trophy. There's 10. You can see Izzy right beside her, and Ellen Grace White are also at the bottom right here. Drea Prater behind them. She's moved up with us at the end of the year, just really big help in practice and stuff. 21 behind Ella is Maya Martin there. Not to be confused. Most people say Mia, but it's really Maya. I think I said Caroline's 22. And then there's Terry on the top left. She was a JV player that moved up with us at the end of the year also to just to help practice. And but we had nine varsity players most of the year, and used JV players to practice. When JV season got over, we wanted those 2 up to just really, really help us in practice, because we did a lot of 5-on-6 stuff to get ready for, a lot of it to get ready for Ramsay's pressure, to be honest with you. So we worked 5-on-6 stuff. So having those 2 JV players move up was really, really big in the year. But to start with the players, of course, you always hear, you're always going to hear Bree's name. Bree does what she does. She guards biggest thing about Bree, she shows up bigger in the tournament. And Bree plays hard every play, but she finds another gear in the tournament, it seems like. Izzy Nelson, she's just all around. She's a 6-footer that handles the ball for us, outlets the ball, just all around, just does everything for us. And Caroline, of course, Caroline and Tatum are our best shooters. Caroline led us in scoring last year. I think Bree did this year. She was second. Them and Tatum are our best. They both shoot close to 35%. They're our best shooters, and neither one of them really got hot yesterday. So luckily Morgan stepped up. Morgan Perkins, my other senior, that I've got to say that she has just elevated her game. It started just before the tournament. She's really, really elevated her game. She would have been on the all-area team. should have been on the all-region team. We only got 2 for some reason, and we won. I didn't understand that, but gosh, Morgan definitely deserved that. She's played really well. Had a stat line. Of course, she was on the all-state team, and then I guess I'll go to my point guards, Ella and Grace White. Gosh, you know, they don't score a lot. You don't see them scoring a lot. However, they made big shots against Priceville. Really big threes. They made 3 of them. Ella made 2. Grace made 1 when they tried to sag off of them against Priceville. But, boy, they did the dirty work. They guard a point guard at any level. They can guard up to they can guard a Division I player. New Hope, Kelly Yarbrough, who's my cousin, by the way, my first cousin's daughter, really good player. But they've had to guard players as good as her and Division I players like her. And they do a really good job. But any level of defense of just pressure, wearing the other point guard down. And I want to say Abigail Shelton, she didn't, you know, she's helped us in talking more than anybody in practice, her attitude. And I want to say this too. She had for her minutes played in the regional final and the state final, per minute, she was as valuable or more valuable than anybody we had. She probably didn't play a quarter, probably both those games, but she had 5 big points. So she came in not long. She hit a 3 and immediately got a steal and hit a jump shot in the state finals Saturday. And I know she had an assist. So, gosh, she made the absolute most of her minutes. And when she wasn't in there, she was the biggest cheerleader and cheering for everybody. And I think I've gotten everybody except down to Maya. And we took a chance. The Twins are some of our 2 better defensive players. We took a chance in the state finals and went to zone pressure with more length and went with Maya. Well, she immediately made a 3 as soon as she went in. So that worked out. And then she got some hands-on balls, got us some turnovers. So it's just a team that, you know, we don't rely on just one person. It could be different. It's different every night. We play 9 kids, a lot of minutes, and we never know who's going to be making shots. But it's not just about the points. It's the most selfless team that I've ever been a part of, really. You know, they don't care who scores the points. And they all put effort in defense first and before scoring. And a lot of times that's what changes our game and our mindset and speeds us up is our defense. I think our team is the biggest example I've ever heard of, you know, everybody wanting to win, but nobody caring who gets the credit. And that's for the kids and the coaches and all. I think, you know, everybody wants to win no matter what they do. And nobody cares who gets the credit. And I think that's the most special part of this group. And I talked about this at state tournament. You know, they're all our kids. They all started playing together. You know, Shane Small and Kelly Nelson started coaching them in 3rd and 4th grade. The majority of them, the 7 of them, and then kind of mixed our 2 seniors in with them as they got a little older. Then they've been playing fall leagues together. Bree plays a little bit outside with AAU, but other than that, you know, our kids travel together, just local. It Supreme Court's at Gunnersville. They play fall leagues together there, all of them. It's just kind of, they've just done everything together in town with all of our coaches and people. And it's been a plan, you know, since they were really young. And, you know, nowadays that's not the only way to do it, but you don't know, is that, you know, that's the rarity nowadays to be able to say that. And it's just a really special thing that they're such a close-knit group. And I think that's why they're so selfless, is because they've come up together and been doing this together for a long time.
Well, you know, and they know each other off the court, friends
Yes.
off the court. That's very important to have those kind of relationships. And, of course, that's what's going to be the most important part about winning this state championship. Yeah, that trophy is going to get dusty and it's going to get tarnished, but the memories and the relationships will last forever. And that's what you'll remember more than anything. You know, and, Coach, and I know what you're referring to. I've seen on social media about, you know, these kids are homegrown. You know, not anybody moving in. And I don't think anybody was meaning that as being a knock against other schools for bringing in other players. It's just, like you say, it's a rarity that many players are together and play, and you don't have a bunch of move-ins.
Oh, yeah, and I definitely don't mean it to be a knock as anybody. Like, at anybody. Like, you you know, somebody said online, you know, if you got a good high quality character kid that wants to come in more, you know, that's great. I just think that it was you know, I was just using an example of it's so rare. And the fact that I think that was a lot of our success, the fact that, you know, all the kids grew up together and been playing so long together. And it just made it, you know, it made winning so much more important to be able to do it together. And, you know, being so close and a tight knit group is what was really, really special. That's what I was trying to say. It was not a knock at anything else or anybody else.
I understand. I understand. But, you know, I wanted to point that out because sometimes people can take that out of context and it happens easy. Right. So I wanted you to kind of explain that. And I understood exactly what you were saying.
Yes.
In the world, the way, you know, it's just the way it is now. Everybody wants to go to who's winning. That's just kind of the way it is. And that's just the balance of power that has happened. One other thing I want to ask you about, and then I'll turn you over to Howie. When you got that trophy and got to hold it, what personally did that mean to you?
Oh gosh, you know, I think that's something I just can't even describe with words. It was just so much joy. The relief of just all the hard work and stress, and it all worked out. You know, because in basketball, you know, it's a lot subjective, and you're taking chances, and you just never know what opportunity. You know, we were there last year, but you know, I've seen it long enough. I knew you're not guaranteed anything. And so many teams you'll see have one really good season or get so close and then not even get to go never have another chance. So it was just so special. I knew how hard our kids had worked. Just so special for them and our coaching staff and the whole school and just the whole community. I don't even know if I can describe with words how good it felt, but just it was amazing. And like I said, it's still it's still sinking in. It's just an amazing feeling of accomplishment. And everything we did, like I said, it's kind of just that it worked.
Yeah. All right. Take it away, Howie.
Coach, speaking about the trophy, let me pull this picture up one more time. And it's a new trophy this year where you can actually see through it. What's your thoughts on that new type of trophy there?
Well, I'm glad to have it for sure. We were looking, you know, we got a red one from last year, so we were comparing it a little lighter, a little more modernized and sleek. It looks good, but I'm proud to have one for the first year that they offered them for sure. It felt better than the red one for sure.
Have any of the players actually had their picture made with their face in the middle of it where they could actually see themselves in the
I have not seen that yet. If they did, I have not seen that. You know, we gave it to them for a while after for pictures and stuff. They may have, but I have not seen that. I think it was neat how Bree's numbers was going through it just like it was down there, though.
Yeah. You know, I know I keep on bringing the picture up, but I mean, I don't know if you could have placed that in your better to have that number on that trophy like that.
Oh yeah, it looks perfect.
Yeah, so, hey, that's what maybe that's an omen of a three-peat, maybe.
I hope we'll see. I'm trying to relax and not think about it right now, but you know that's always the goal.
Yeah.
How was it going into school today after winning that thing?
Oh wow. Of course, you know, walk down the hall, everybody's excited. Of course, when I get out of my car, Coach Bell is the boys coaches are pulling into the parking lot same time with me. So of course they start trying to embarrass me by blowing the horns and all that stuff. But it was a great feeling. Everyone's just been so complimentary of our girls, and it's been great so far.
I normally ask coaches or anybody that's on here what music do they like to listen to, but I'm sure the last 2 or 3 days is "We Are the Champions" for you.
Right. Gosh, it's been a, you know what, going back to that, we've had just a really, really good time on the bus. We've ridden together back. So they've had their music going in the back on the bus. From the region on, they decided to have they call it their party bus. So we've ridden back together. You know, usually, you know, nowadays people ride back with parents. So, but since the region tournament, those 2 games and 2 state tournament games, they wanted us to all ride the bus together back. And that's been really special with their, you know, with their music going back there and just the memories that you want, you know, stuff like that you'll never forget.
You you've mentioned the players and everything, and you're being the head coach, but I know you've got some assistants that helped you out along the way. Let's get their names out there as well.
All right. Our first assistant, Kelly Nelson, and if I've done anything right with this, the coaching thing or whatever, I think I've brought in the right people. If I could take credit for anything, it's bringing in the right people. Coach Tolliver's been with me. I'm going to go to Coach Tolliver first. She came in coaching the same year I did. She came with me my very first year, and we had a couple of good ones then that are no longer, that have gone in other sports. But so me and Coach Tolliver have been there together for 7 years. She handles all the logistics. She handles everything. She coaches the JV for me, but she also takes care of handling everything. If we go out and eat, she's handling it all. Everything, all the business part of the basketball, she handles, and she's a buffer to the outside and just invaluable. Coach Nelson is our first varsity assistant. And gosh, I talked him into coming back and helping with basketball when nobody said I could. And if I want to take credit for anything, it's that, because gosh, he sees basketball just like I do, and how I want to and need to. It's just really amazing how I've just never had an assistant that sees basketball like me and gets it. And just a really, really good teacher and good teacher of fundamentals. So I won the lottery with both of those, by keeping Coach Tolliver this long and talking Coach Nelson into coming back. And he coached junior high for a couple of years, and then he's been with us on varsity for maybe 4 now, not sure, 3 or 4. And then Coach Belvin, he's young. He's young, and he brings the energy for us. He brings energy. He's really good at stats. Every year he's gotten better at breaking down games, breaking down game film. He's from the Woodville Grant area, his family. So I knew his family. I played basketball with his aunt and uncle in school. So I've been really close to his family. So it was really close to their family. His grandpa used to come watch our games at Huntland. We were so close. So it's been really good bringing him in. Like I said, every year he's gotten better and better and better at what he brings to us. He's our hype guy too, by the way. But it's good. Everybody says, everybody wants to say they got the best assistants, but they're wrong, because I have the best staff. I can guarantee you that. I wouldn't trade any of them for anybody.
Yeah. Hey, well, I want to interrupt here. What about administration? Are they really good about getting everything that you need? I know you want to build, team camaraderie off the court and those type of things. How good is your administration?
They've been great, been supportive. Like I said, Coach Tubbs is, Coach Tubbs and Coach Hodges, that's our principal and athletic director. Coach Hodges still handles like the logistics stuff, the paperwork and AHSAA stuff. There were 2 of the 3 people that was, hired me in the interview, that interviewed me there. And, Coach Hodges was the principal last year when Coach Dudley retired. And then now Tubbs has it, and Hodges athletic director. But it's been great. They give us anything we need. They were both basketball coaches as well, so they understand that side of it. It's I couldn't ask for more support than we have for them. And back to it was great when Mr. Dudley was there too. It's been really good with really good people that understand the whole side of academics and athletics and the mix that makes our kids the best. It's just been really, really great.
Let's get to know Coach Childers just a little bit, if you don't mind. Go on a personal side a little bit. I mentioned the music a little bit earlier, so and I joked around about Queen being "We Are the Champions" now. They should have had that playing when you walked in this morning, but we need to get on to Jay Bell about that, because he, instead of honking the horns, he should have had that music ready to play first thing. But anyway, what type of music do you like listening to?
I tell you what, I listen to a variety of music. I guess I guess it's strange, but I still listen to a lot of 90s stuff. The 90s pop rocks type thing, and the 90s country stuff. And I guess modern day, I listen to more modern country stuff, I guess, if it still is considered country. Maybe not. Maybe XM, like the highway type stuff. But I like a variety, like a lot of the the alternative stuff in the 90s that was popular, alternative and pop rock stuff in the 90s, and still a lot of modern music too. But I still like, heck, I went to last year. I guess I went to Garth Brooks concerts, Ed Sheeran concert last year. Stapleton and George Strait too. So I guess I listen to a variety of a lot of different things. I still like the older stuff, like Matchbox 20 stuff. I still like Pearl Jam stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm all over the place with music.
I'm not a big concert person, but give me an Ed Sheeran concert any time of the year, because he puts on one heck of a concert.
It don't matter what it is. If you respect talent, you have to like Ed Sheeran for sure. He is talented.
Me and my daughter went real quick story. Me and my daughter and one of her friends went a couple years ago, or no, last year, to the Ed Sheeran in Atlanta. And halfway, or as he's getting ready to play the song, one of his guitar strings broke. And he's like, guys, this tells you right here, there's no tracks playing behind you, behind me. So hold on a second. So he had to wait and swap guitars and everything. So everything he does is him out there by himself on the stage, and there you go.
It is him, authentic. Yes, it's amazing, really. If you just, I just like respect talent, no matter what it is, and he's talented. Absolutely.
Let's talk about maybe eats. What's your favorite food you like to eat, or favorite restaurant you like to go to?
Well, you know what? We ate really, really good. We had so many people buying us food and churches and businesses and stuff. So we've eaten really, really good. Our basketball team has lately. Gosh, one of our better meals, Top of the River, was great. After the region game one night, I like seafood. We ate at several steakhouses. I really like a medium steak. Also, and our coaches and our bus driver really enjoy a good steak eating too. I want to give a shout out to Jonathan McNutt. He's a former coach there in Scottsboro, but he drives our bus everywhere. And gosh, he's supportive, just so supportive to our program too. I got to give him a shout out too if I'm gonna be on here.
Yeah, that's great. And earlier you mentioned something about you didn't know if people believed in superstitions or not. Hey, I am one of them. I'll admit to it. I am one of them that's superstitious. And something I have asked everybody, and I'm not going to let you get out here without asking, any superstitions that you have to do or anything you have to do before you take the court?
Well, I guess we all proclaim not to want to be superstitious, but I will tell you that, we wore our same coaching outfit for our black shirts and our gray pants for six straight tournament games, when we got white and we got gold and we got everything else. But we kind of didn't want to change anything up as far as practice. Our girls actually last year, about half of this season, got in a practice routine. Our fundamental stuff, they wanted a routine. So we've been doing our same routine that was working because it worked last year. We've stayed with that. Like I said, our same clothes. Coach Tolliver, I gotta give her a hard time about this one. She requested to have us exactly the same hotel rooms in the Sheraton as for the finals as we did the semifinal. Somehow she was able to make that work. I have no idea how she convinced them of that. And I've got a little, my coaches say a little OCD. I'm gonna call it a little habits. I also do. Nobody wants to say they're superstitious, but we all become really habitual down the stretch for sure, I'll say.
Well, we had Coach Steve Sparks on here a few weeks ago, and I asked him the same question. He said, no, it's routines. It's not superstition. It's routine.
Yeah, that's what we like to call it, routines, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to give you credit for you was one of the very few coaches that I saw down there that wore your traditional coaching clothes or whatever you want to call it, because most of them gets down there, they'll bring the suits out and all this other stuff. You wore your regular black polo shirt and your khakis and your black tennis shoes.
Well, that's the big thing too. We wanted to make it where it's about the kids, not about us. We want to do and make them be relaxed, like it's another game too. I don't want them to think, oh, they're dressed up, it's over serious, overthink it. I just wanted to do what we do, and actually, like I said, we've been wearing those. It didn't start out as the plan, but we won one game without wearing the black shirts. So let's do it again, then again, and the next thing you know, we're like, we can't change at this point. So I think it was six. I guess it was six or seven. I don't know how many tournament games. Either 6 or 7 straight games. We wore the exact same outfits.
Y'all did wash them between games, right?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Because I've heard of players wearing the same socks and not washing them and that type of thing.
We wash them. Now, Coach Tolliver, now she's got a little more style than us. Now, she's a lady don't dress exactly like the men coaches. So she's got some different stuff that she'll wear. She's a little flashier than we are.
Absolutely. So I want to go back real quick to after the game and everything. After you won, I know you do the press conference, and if I ain't mistaken, I watched a little bit of the press conference afterwards, and I think it was your MVP. She looked totally surprised by winning that award, and I think in the media room, somebody asked her about it, and she's like, "I'm just making sure they said the right name."
Right.
She was surprised that she won it.
I was looking right at her when they called it that happened. I guess, typically, Bree, I guess it's usually been Bree that wins, both the region wins and then All-State last year. Bree was first team All-State. Easy was third team All-State. So I guess she was just surprised. And like I said, she's really selfless and doesn't think about that stuff. I guess that wasn't on her mind, but she deserved it, and I was proud for her for sure. Having 11 rebounds against them is tough.
Yeah, Phil, I don't know if you saw it or not, but on the TV it was showing the all tournament team there, and when they said her name, she just she stood there for a second, then she looked around and was like, "Me?"
Yeah. She looked confused. Yeah. Like not what she was expecting, but maybe she played better than she realized, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, that was a great moment by seeing her reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you see her stat line, to me, she was the difference in that basketball game. She made a huge difference, and she was rewarded for it.
For sure. And, the semifinals, she got close. She almost had a triple-double in the semifinals. I think she had 8 steals or something, or 8 assists or 8 steals. So she was just a couple of steals or assists away from a triple-double in the semifinal game, too. So she played really well both games.
2 more questions, Coach, and we'll let you get out of here. I know it's been a whirlwind the last 2 or 3 days. The key to the city being given to you tonight, basically, and I know you got to play in your T-shirts and championship rings and all that stuff. You think Greg Bill will get a championship ring as well?
You know what? I bet you would. That's something that I don't wear any jewelry. I'm not good at this kind of thing. They talk to me about rings, and I guess we're going to look at them Wednesday. But that if anybody, he deserves one. If anybody does, that is a very, very good point. I hadn't even thought about me a ring or anybody else, but that's something we're going to have to figure out. But he's been supportive. He definitely deserves one for sure. That's a good point.
But at least one where you can hang it in his office anyway.
That is a very good point.
Yeah. And the championship shirt, whatever you want to put on the front, but make sure you put a bullseye on the back because everybody's coming towards you next year.
Oh, for sure. I know.
Hey, but that's a good feeling, though. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
So, what after the game Saturday, y'all do the media, you go to the locker room, y'all celebrate and all that. What did y'all do for the rest of the day?
Gosh, we got in there and Bree's dad was passing out some shirts he had made. Passing out some shirts, we did that, and we came out. We talked, whatever, we celebrate, talk, pictures, all that stuff. They wanted some, they make TikToks or whatever now. The girls, they wanted it in the locker room before they came out. So they did that and I guess used all the time they had before they had to clean up or whatever. So then we go outside. This year the BJCC kind of pushed the fans outside, so they didn't want everybody hanging out in the walkways, which makes sense. So we didn't know that. They pushed our fans outside and told us where to go through to come out to meet them there. So come out, the coaches are first talking to all the people out there and all that stuff. Then the kids, they stayed out there for seemed like an hour getting pictures and just enjoying it with our friends and family and our town. Whole town was out there, just enjoying that. And maybe an hour later, we got our stuff from the Sheraton. We got on the bus because, like I said, they wanted their party bus, everybody riding together, one last time. And so we went to Trustful and ate at Longhorn together and did that. And so then the assistant started working out, and we had 2 officers that went with us, and Lee Benson, our SRO, and another officer. that followed, escorted us back. So they ate with us, and the assistant started working it out. Like I said, they handle a lot of stuff that I don't have to, like the T-shirts and all the other logistic stuff. So they worked it out that what time we were getting back, and so the whole town was waiting for us on our victory lap. By the time we got back at 3:34 or something like that. So, gosh, we had so many people waiting to as soon as we got in town to, fire trucks, police, all that, to escort us to the square. And we go around the square on the bus, make a lap, and then stop. And I'd never been a part of the track or cross-country state championships, which they do. Some of them had been part of it before, assistants for there. But it was new to me, going all the way around the square. Then they stop, and the kids actually get out. And so many people in the community are just waiting there to congratulate them. And it was just really, really, really special to see that. And from there, we went back to the school and dropped them off. And then we didn't come back. So that's the last we saw of them Saturday, Saturday evening. And then we came back as a team yesterday evening at 5:30 to roll the trees, to roll all the trees. Because, that's what they do at Scottsboro, roll the trees so the kids see them the next day at school when school starts. So we did that. And that's pretty hard. That took a team effort too. That's a good bit of work. The kids and coaches, we all helped too. Like I said, my little girl, she helped roll the small bushes too. But that was just really fun to get to do together as a team. I guess kind of our last time together to do as a team. I know we also have a banquet, and hopefully we'll get to go do something else, maybe go to a game or something as a team. But, that'll be the last for a while was the rolling the trees was really, really special.
Awesome. We'd love to have you back sometime, Coach. If we weren't too hard on you this time, we'd love to have you back another time. So you're welcome back anytime. If y'all have any fundraisers, let us know. We'll put it on our website to pass word along and everything. And before we let you go, the last thing I'm going to ask is, do you have any shout outs for anybody?
Any shout outs for anybody?
Shout outs.
I think I've about mentioned everybody. I make sure I got McNutt in there, our bus driver. We've mentioned Greg Bell so much. Gosh, all my coaches and team, family. I really can't think of anybody else. We've talked about all the admin. That's been good. But I really can't think of anybody else. I think we've about covered it. I want to thank our tip-off people. I do want to thank a couple. Shane Small helped with this basketball group from the time they were real young. He still comes to practice, watches us now, and is always with us and the girls. And he got to go down and get the picture with us after it. So I appreciate him for that. He's been good. Shane White's our tip-off president, done so much stuff. Morgan's dad, Mr. Perkins, keeps our book and does the pictures and stuff for us. That's been a big help for us this year, too. So I'd like to mention them. Michael Perkins, the last one. I appreciate all of them. And it took so much. It takes so much. So many people putting in. And like I said, all the churches. I can't name all the churches and all the businesses that that supported us and bought us meals and gave us money and all that. I couldn't begin to name all that because I would leave somebody off. I'm not going to do that. But it's just taken a whole town effort of just supporting these girls, and it's been really positive and really good.
Yeah,
I do thank y'all, and I thank y'all for what y'all done, allowing me to be on here to support our girls. I appreciate that more than you know as well.
Yeah, of course, a lot of behind the scenes people is what that's what's important, and that's what makes it enjoyable is see them be a part of something special. Well, I can tell you one thing you can pass on is tell Tyler Van that now that he knows how it's done, it's his turn.
I will do it. Tyler Brown's a big basketball fan too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. We talked about Greg Bell, and I can't let this go, but during the regionals, it was the Bell and Bell connection on the radio.
Exactly.
Does Jason have a future in broadcasting?
He might. You know what? I haven't gone back and listened to him, so I'm the one. I didn't get to listen to him, and so I don't know. I don't know. I hear he did a good job, but I don't know. I hear he was also real positive toward us, but I do. You know what? Jason Bell has also been a big supporter of our program. I could never imagine He's just been great to work with. And at Scottsboro, you know, we share a bathroom there where our offices are, and it is detrimental that the boys and girls coach get along. And he's been just absolutely great to work with, positive. It's just, couldn't ask for. I got along great with Kenny too when Kenny Hill was there too. But gosh, I'm so proud that Jason Bell's just worked so well. He's been so supportive of our girls.
Good deal. Phil, you have anything else before we let this young man
go?
I just celebrate some more.
I was just glad I was able to reach out to you, invite you to come on, and glad you've come on the show with us. And of course, we'll look forward to having you on again in the future.
All right, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, for Phil Harris, how's this sound? The 5A state champion girls coach Childers from Scottsboro. Is that ever going to get old hearing that, Coach?
It sounds good.
I'm the Howard Chaney. This is Beyond the Booth. Good night and God bless, everybody.